to record it, I forget. So here we go. Hopefully we are recording now. So tonight's topic was actually based on, as I said in my little video, a question by Jamie, who is on here, Miss Galaxy S8 Plus. We did a business income opportunity class up in Kirksville this weekend, and she was interested, you know, in learning about that. And then after we were done, she's like, okay, like, I'm totally interested. I want to do this. How do I start? Where do I start? What do I do? So I was like, that's a pretty good question. We should probably talk about that a little more in depth. We talk about more kind of abstract ideas or like personal development type stuff. So tonight I wanted to talk more like concrete, like here's some good ideas, here's some good resources, here's where to start. So I'm going to go through just kind of, I took some notes on things I wanted to mention. I have a bunch of tabs open on my internet that I want to show you different things. And then I would love for you guys to either ask questions about any of it or share other ideas that you have or resources that you know, have found useful or anything like that. So definitely feel free to unmute yourself and share at any time. So the first thing I wanted to say, because this, I know there's several people who can't make it, who are brand new and have just gotten started themselves on Young Living that are interested. So I'm going to start kind of at the basics and we'll kind of work our way through. So the first thing I would say is you need to know how to find your link and or member number so that you can share it with somebody. So once you go to youngliving.com and log in, and you'll either use your login name. I use my member number. So I already know my member number. That's how I log in. That's just easier for me. And then, let me see if I can do this screen share here. Can you see that? Can you see my screen? No?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. So when you log in, on the little dashboard down here, on the left side, you can see this member resources. So if I scroll down, you have this link builder. And that is the quickest, easiest way. You can always find your link there. It auto-fills in your member number. And then it has this link. And under, if I move everybody's heads here, it just says copy link. So I can just click that, and then I can paste that in an email, I can paste that in a Facebook message, I can paste it in a text, whatever, and I send that to somebody, and as soon as they click on it, it takes them to the Young Living site with my member number put in there. So when they go to, if they immediately enroll, it'll have it in there, but even if they start like looking around on the site and they start looking at different options and then they go back to the enrollment page, your number is still saved in there because that's where they started. So that's an easy way. Or if you just give them your member number and say, go to youngliving.com and put in my member number. That works too. So just wanted to get that basics out there. And then, stop the share here. The other thing I wanted to say is, you know, obviously one of the main ways to share is to do classes. So we've talked about there's different ways to do classes. You can do classes online, you can do classes in person, you can do classes on Zoom. However you are comfortable, I would recommend doing all of the above because the more, you know, avenues you do, the more people you're going to be able to reach. But my personal favorite is in person. That is where I've had the most success and really just enjoyment. I like doing them in person. They're more personal. They're more, you're kind of free to talk that way. And so those are just my preferred method, but you can really do it however you want. And what you need in order to do that, I mean, you don't have to really have anything. You can just talk. But it is nice to have your premium starter kit, which is how most people get started. And you should have a product guide. And we've talked about that before. But in the product guide, you can literally just do a class through this book because it has everything you need. It goes through what are essential oils, how to use essential oils, why Young Living, really everything you need to talk about. And you don't need to go through the whole book. Just kind of the first, 10 or 15 pages is really everything you need to talk about to do an effective class. And the most important part is just sharing your story and telling people why you're doing this, what it's meant to you, what kind of, benefits that you've seen compliantly, and all of that. Just sharing your story, sharing with other people, getting them excited. You do not need to be a professional. You do not need to be an expert. You do not need to have all the answers to all of their questions. Just having a conversation and sharing with others is really the only thing you need to start. So then another book that I just recently got and I'm absolutely loving, I've been reading through it in my spare time, and I'm thinking about doing like a video class and just reading it, is this Now What Scripts book. It is so good. It's literally just scripts for classes. They're, in my opinion, worded very well. I've read lots of scripts, and a lot of them I'm like, that's not really kind of me, or I change them a lot, but this one I really, really, really like so far of what I've read. And I think it was $8. Spiral bound, so it's just really handy. And I've actually thought about, I've been reading it on this trip already, and I was thinking this would actually be a really good gift for somebody the first time they enroll a member. Because then they're obviously at least somewhat interested in sharing, even if it's just, a family that said, hey, like I want to do this for $8. To me, that seems like a really good investment. Or maybe even somebody who hits the rank of star, something like that, where it's somebody that's kind of just getting started. I'm thinking this is a really good resource to give to somebody who kind of wants to share but doesn't know where to start, because you could literally just read the scripts and you'll have a wonderful class. So that was one I wanted to share.
April.
Yes.
Is that a life science book?
Yes.
Okay.
So they have a little pamphlet, which I think I also have in my computer bag over here. Hold on. They have, yes. They have this, which is just called Now What? And it says, creating your 4-month plan for supporting your wellness goals. And this is something to give to just new members that kind of walks them through different products and different body systems. And so this kind of goes along with it, the Now What scripts. So you can use this script and give this to people in the class if they want to follow along. You don't necessarily have to do this. The script is really good just by itself. But if you want to do both, I think these are like $3. So really cool system. So some other questions that people ask a lot in the beginning are about other things like websites, business cards, Facebook pages, business name, logo, all of that kind of stuff. So I will just give you my opinion on all of that. It is totally, everybody is different. Everybody thrives in different ways. So you do you. It is whatever you want to do, whatever your budget allows, all that kind of thing. My opinion is it is not necessary to start. It is much more important that you start than that you have all of that stuff in place. I have people who are doing Young Living who have done all of that stuff and then never really done much with it, and it's kind of a bummer because it's like, I know you invested a lot of time and sometimes a lot of money in those resources, but if you're not sharing and you're not doing classes, you're not going to have a business. So then it's kind of, for naught. Whereas there's other people out there who are sharing their butts off and having classes and doing wonderful and enrolling people that don't have that stuff because it's not really necessary. And then, of course, there's people who do both. They have it, they love it, they have a great online presence, all of that, and they're doing the business. That's totally awesome. So for myself, I have a website. It's a YLDist website. I love it. It's super easy and generic. Like, they do everything. You just buy, you pay a subscription. You can customize it if you want. And they have great, great, great service. And it's nice to have people an easy, link that people can go to. I just say, here's my website, blah, blah, blah. They can shop there, all that stuff. So it's nice, not at all necessary. I have business cards that I hardly ever give out. Again, it's nice to have. Sometimes people will ask, not at all necessary. I have a Facebook business page, and that is obviously, that's free. So that is nice that you can have kind of a business presence, if you will, for free without, any investment that way. But it is work. And I was just telling somebody this the other day. It may have been Jamie at the class. the thing about Facebook business pages is Facebook uses their algorithm to try to make you spend money on them. So if you don't spend money on them, not as many people are going to see your posts, and there's not going to be, as high of an algorithm rating and that kind of thing. And if you aren't aware of how all of that works, I think it's easy for people to get discouraged because they're like, oh, I'm going to create a Facebook page and I'm going to have this business, and then nobody sees anything, nobody likes anything, nobody comments on anything, and it's like, oh, this is such a bummer. So just keep that in mind, that it does take some work, it does take some effort if you want to have a successful business page. That being said, I do like mine, and one of the main benefits that I like about it is how it creates public events. So when I create public events from my business page, I have a few features that I don't have on a person page. I can make people co-hosts on my business page. I can make businesses co-hosts on my business page. So there's a few little bonuses that I do appreciate about that. But again, not necessary. So does anybody have any questions or additional thoughts on any of that kind of like business tech side of the world? I know some of you have pages, some of you don't.
Well, and I think for most of us that I know here, that we do have our own pages, I think we all probably created those for the same reason I think I did, was I didn't want to shove it all down people's throats on my own personal page. And it's just kind of a safe place to be able to share things that we learn, just things about Young Living, and I use mine also just for other healthy topics. But so I like having it for that reason. Some people disagree with that. Some people in other network marketing businesses don't agree with that, and they think that you need to share it from your own personal page. But I've just heard a lot of negative comments about people that do that from other people, and they end up unfollowing them and, whatever. So I kind of like it for that reason.
Yep. Yeah, I would say, like you said, a lot of people have different opinions on that. I agree. That was part of my thought process, kind of, in that I definitely feel like I can share as much as I darn want on my business page about my business. I can say whatever I want. If people don't want, they can unfollow it. However, I do know there's lots of, again, people aren't going to see your business page as much as they see your personal page. So you do run the risk, if you put kind of all of your eggs in that basket and nobody ever sees it, then nobody ever knows. So I think there's definitely a balance between the two. And I think if done properly on your personal page, I know there's a lot of companies out there where they're just like blast, 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 blast. It's all about the product. It's all of these before and after pictures. It's all of, that kind of thing. Then it can easily be like, okay, I'm done. But if I heard somebody actually just in the Momentum Makers this week is actually on social media, and I've only watched one of them so far. There's been videos every day about all different kinds of social media. And the first day, that's what the one lady said. She was like, people come to Facebook because they want to know you. They want to know what's going on with you. They want to know how you're doing. They want to know what's going on in your life. And so as long as you're making it about that, and it is your life, and it's not just like, here's a sale, here's a new product, here's a blah, 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 but you're just sharing your life just like I would with anything else when I talk about how much I love my kombucha. Like I'm not making any money off of that. I'm just talking about things that I love. So I think if you do it in a natural way, like I said, I think there's just a lot of balance to it. But yeah, we don't want to be the creepy people that people want to unfollow.
What I like about a business page is that, like, if I'm busy and I see a notification or something and it kind of clicks with me like, oh, I think I want to check that out later, then I know I can go right to that, and I don't have to scroll through like a bunch of maybe like just stuff about someone's day. If I just want to find that thing, it's easier to find.
Yep.
If you're going to a page that's all about that stuff.
Yep, that is true. Oh, and that being said, I know we had this come up for, I think it was the Live Your Passion rally, the last one we did. Someone else had created the event or something, and we wanted to boost the post because you can pay to have posts boosted, which means they show up more in people's feed, and you can't do that from your personal page. So if you create an event and then you want to boost it, you can't do that on a personal page, but you can on a business page. So that's another reason that could be beneficial. And I do use that too. When someone asks me like, oh, hey, I can't come to this class, but I'm still interested, I'll say, go to the Oily Ambassador and click on events, and you can see everything I have upcoming. So that's kind of nice too, that they can just go look and they may find something else they're interested in there. And again, you don't have that on a personal page. Anything else on that part?
Hey, April.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
What's the difference between a business page and just a group?
Okay.
Is there a difference in that?
Yes, there is. So a group is, it is a group of people who are in what can be and usually is like a kind of a private type setting. So for example, our Oily Ambassadors Growing Together, that's a group. So only the people that are in that group can see our posts. Only the people that are in that group can be tagged or shared stuff. If I post something and you try to share it, it won't share because it's a private group. It's just for the people in that group. Whereas a page is a public page. Anybody in the world can see it. Anybody can share from it. Anybody can go to it and send me a message. Anybody can find it if they're just looking and they're looking like, I want to find something about essential oils. If my page was more popular, it might pop up. It probably wouldn't at this point, but it's very, very much an open forum that anybody can find it. People can go like it and that kind of thing. Is that, hopefully that, that's a very simplified answer, but.
So whenever you have a group page like that, does Facebook change the algorithm so people don't see that? Or do generally, if you're in a group, you see every post that's made? See what
No,
I'm saying?
for sure no. Yeah, you don't see every post at all. There are settings that you can set to make it more or less. So once you're in a group, you can go to settings and you can click on, I think there's 3 options. See all notifications, see highlights, which means you'll just see the things that are more popular and that are being commented on more, and then turn off notifications. So you have those choices. But even with that, I mean, yeah. Unless people are commenting on stuff, I don't think a lot of it shows up. That's just how it works.
And can you hear me?
Yep.
The more active you are on a page or you visit a page, the more it'll show up in your feed. So if you're wanting to see things,
That is true. Yes,
just
that is
keep going to that page and it'll.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I'm in so many groups that I forget all about, and then I go look at my groups and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't been in there in like months, and I haven't seen anything in months. So yeah.
Or I go on a LuLaRoe spree and then it's all. So I have to start going back to my other posts.
So, yes, for sure, for sure.
April, can I ask you real quick? So
Yes.
your Oily Ambassadors tagline, that's your business page, is that right? And then your Growing Together tag, that's just a group. That's
Yes. Yes. So my Facebook page that's public, that's for my business, is the Oily Ambassador. And then the Oily Ambassadors Growing Together is a group that is for our people who are wanting to do the business and wanting to share so that we can grow together and learn together. Okay. Anything else on any of that? All right, well then I'm gonna go do another screen share and go through a couple more resources here. So that is I showed you the link, but then also just in addition, under this member resources tab, there's a ton of stuff in there that you can just read through and learn from. There's all of these links to different, anything. You know, there's links about how to talk about Young Living. There's links about what you can and can't say, compliance. There's things about products to learn about the different products. There's this business center that's all about doing the business. This Wild Central is relatively new. That's really cool. They have PowerPoint presentations in there. They have videos in there that you can watch yourself and learn from, or that you can share. So just a ton of good stuff just in your virtual office. So that I think it's a good place to start, and just go looking through there, reading through there. And of course, you can always ask if you have questions, but that way you can just kind of get a feel for what's available to you. And then because you can also share that with others, which is one thing I meant to say about the link builder too. Not only do you want to know how to find the link builder so you can share it with others, but make sure that anyone you enroll has their link or knows how to find their link. I've been doing that lately. I didn't used to really do that until someone had expressed interest, but somebody said that and gave that tip, and I've been doing it like every time now I enroll somebody. I go make their link and I send it to them. That way they don't even have to look for it. I tell them where it's at, but I send it to them and say, by the way, here is your link. That way, if someone asks you, you can send them this and you'll get a thank you check from Young Living. That way it's like out there. I'm not asking them like, do you want to do the business? Do you want an income opportunity? Like, I'm just throwing it out there and saying, here is your link. And that way, hopefully they're more likely to share it because it's not pressure. They don't have to go find it. It's just like, boom, here it is. It's expected because people do ask questions. People will ask you about what you're using. So I would say that's a good thing to do right off the bat too.
Something to add to the link.
Yes.
Their part. So the Young Living link is incredibly super duper long. And so there is another, which I'm sure you know, but the sign up link generator, I don't know, Young Living sign up link generator.com or whatever.
Yes.
You can just type in your member number and your sponsor number, and it'll just create a really, really short link.
Yep.
So it's not as long.
Yes, and that is the one I use when I send it to people. So to find that, I always go to our group, the Oily Ambassadors Growing Together, and in the search bar, just type in link, and it'll be like the second post that comes up. I posted that and where to find that link, and that's the one I use to send people, yeah, because it is much smaller and much easier to just deal with. So yes, good call. So the next thing I was going to share is files. I don't know if any of you ever use the file resources, but in any group that you are a part of, there is a files tab. So whether that's Swap Shop, there's one on my Swap Shop, there's a files tab, and there's files in there about the rules and regulations for the Swap Shop. So in most of our Young Living groups, there's a files tab with a ton of good resources in them. So I would say my kind of top 3 that I have been through all the files, I have found a ton of good information, is the Drop of Life Team Support and Education Group. So that is Melissa Mason's team group for anybody that's on Melissa Mason's team. So can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So over here on the left, you can see this files. I guess I'm already clicked on that. And you can see there's just a ton of documents, PDFs, there's probably PowerPoints in here about toxins, about Life 9, Thieves Cleaner, like just tons of good information. So you can always look in there for information that you want. And then there's this little search the group. So again, if I want to search for, you know, let's just search for Essential Rewards, and I want to learn more about that. I'm just going to type that in the search, and then I'm going to have all of these posts about anyone who has talked about Essential Rewards. So you can do that with anything. And I will say that I do that sometimes if I want to find out about something that is not compliant, because I know that there are posts in there that are not compliant, that are really old, that never got deleted. And so multiple occasions I've found things that I wouldn't now be able to necessarily search for and find, but they're old posts in there. And so if I search for them, I can find some good info. Just FYI. So then same thing in our group. So this Oily Ambassadors Growing Together, this is a business group. So this is all going to be business related stuff. So we have the IPA sheet in here. We have expense charts. We have forms for people to fill out at different kinds of events. We have PowerPoints. We have scripts for classes. There's scripts for classes. There's PowerPoints for classes, all kinds of stuff in there. So again, when you're just starting and you're like, hey, I want to do a class, but I don't know where to start, go to the files and you can find probably anything that you need to do that. And then the last one that I really like, and again, there's lots of old information. This is Teresa Jingle's business group. So she is our Upline Diamond. If you're not in this group or don't know her, feel free to ask and someone can add you. But there is a lot of good older information in here too. Again, you just click on the files tab, and she's got presentations in here. She's got business presentations in here, all kinds of stuff. So that's a good resource. Then the next one is the oilabilityteam.com. Most of you have done the game plan, read the game plan book, done the game plan boot camp. For those who haven't, you can go to this website and you can do it for free. So you can buy the book, which I definitely recommend. It's a great book. But if you're just getting started and you don't want to spend any money, you can do it here for free. If you do this start here, and then it says game plan boot camp, she has a video for every chapter. And basically what it is it's like how to start a Young Living business. And she goes through like all the steps and all the basics and everything you need to know in this book. And on the website, she has a video for each chapter that just basically reads it to you. So it's really nice because you can do it all for free. Then the last website I had on here to mention is the You Infuse website. So this is by Monique McLean. She is a Royal Crown Diamond, and she's super awesome. And she has a whole bunch of comp plan videos in here. Again, all free, and it just breaks it down. She's got a terminology video, ER, bonuses, Rising Star Team bonus. So like there's a different video for each kind of main topic of the compensation plan. In my opinion, she breaks them down really well. They're explained really well. So that's a great resource and also free. So let me stop the share again. Sorry, our air conditioner here is really loud. I don't know if you can hear it. Okay, so those are kind of the main tips, things that I had to mention. I would say the main thing is just doing something. Don't wait. Don't wait to be perfect. Don't wait to have beautiful business cards. Don't wait. Don't wait. Just share, talk to people, be yourself, be personal. You know, that's the main thing. People want to hear your story. They want to know why you use what you use and why you love it. I think that's part of the trap that we all fall into as well, is we've been doing it for long enough and we love these products long enough that we're like, oh my gosh, thieves, everybody needs thieves. To somebody that's never used thieves, they're like, what are you talking about? That is the weirdest name ever. I have no idea why I would want that. And so we need to explain, and we need to share examples, and we need to say, I love thieves because, you know, I use it. I love to use it. I'm running it right now in the hotel room. And explain why you use what you use and how you use it. Even the premium starter kit. I think I do that a lot where it's like, oh, the premium starter kit's on sale. So I don't even know what that is. I don't know what it comes with. I don't know why I want it. I don't know how to use any of it. That's what people who aren't in this world are thinking when we say things like that. So we have to be personal. We have to connect with people, find out what their needs are so that we can relay that to them. You know, if they have immune system issues, then we can say, oh, Thieves is amazing for immune support, all of that kind of stuff. So just always be thinking about that. How can I make it personal and how can I make it applicable to this person? And then follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. If you don't follow up with people, you're probably not going to hear back from them. Every once in a while, you'll get a great blessing and someone will come find you, but that is not usually how it works. Usually it works that you talk to somebody, they forget about you, you talk to them again, they forget about you again. Then 3 or 4 times later, they're like, hey, you talked to me about oils and I think I'm ready to do that. So you have to follow up with people. Don't be discouraged if they're not ready when you first talk to them, or if they come to a class and they're not ready. If we've been in this long enough, we've all had those experiences where somebody comes to us 2 years later and they're like, oh yeah, I'm ready now. And it's like, what? I forgot all about you. So follow up with people. We have an entire video on that too, about follow-up. There's, I know we did a video about following up with people after they enrolled, because that's another part of it. Don't just follow up until they enroll, but after they enroll, you still have to be following up. You still have to be seeing what they're using, how they're liking it, how you can help, what suggestions you can offer, what resources you can offer, all of that kind of stuff. Because again, if they get their kit and they're like, I don't remember what I was supposed to do with half of this stuff, and they don't use it, it's not going to benefit them. And that's what we ultimately want. We want them to use it. We want to see the benefit from it and want to share it with other people. Then, I had one more thing. I don't remember what it was. Does anybody else have anything while I try to think about it? Or any questions?
I was just saying, we're kind of full of people who don't use business cards or have any flyers or any of the fancy stuff, just because, I mean, it does take money, and we just kind of decided, you know, we're starting the business. We started like in December, so it's been a little while now, but, you know, we don't have that extra money just laying around.
Right.
We've been doing it like that, and it's been going fine. So I feel like we're a good example of, like, you don't have to have it. I think it's really helpful,
Right.
you know, to be able to pull out a business card and hand it to somebody. So, I mean, like, I plan to do that eventually.
Right.
But really just the only kind of resource that, you know, we give our members whenever they, you know, get started is the Fearless mini book by
That's an awesome
Sarah
one,
Parrish.
yes.
And I've heard good feedback about it because it goes over the basics so well, and also really gets them into the essential rewards mindset.
Yep.
That just kind of, I feel like, is an important resource. So we do that, but
Yes. That's a
you
great
don't really have to have anything to get started, is all I'm saying.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. And yeah, I mean, business cards, I mean, you can print them yourself if you want one. You know, that's what I did in the beginning. I printed them. You can buy like cardstock, this business cards, and I just printed some at home. I printed a couple sheets of them. I probably never even used most of them because I really don't use them very often. And even when I do, I don't know that they've ever brought me any fruit. So yeah, definitely not necessary. I think, yeah, exactly. You guys are a great example of just doing classes, doing stuff, having events, you know, getting out there, being consistent. That's the main thing. You know, it's not going to happen overnight for anybody, but if you just keep being consistent, keep getting out there, having fun, it's going to be awesome. Anybody else have anything? Les, do you have anything before I hang up and you give me all your good ideas? That's what he did to me last week. We had an awesome call and then hung up, and he had awesome preaching after we were done. I was like, thanks. Where were you on the call? But all right. Well, thank you all for joining. Feel free to message any questions as it comes up or as you go along your journey, or any other tips that you want to share. Feel free. I'm sure I'll have other ideas that I will remember later that I wish I would have said, but hopefully that gives you a starting point.